Hi, this is Phyllis. Welcome back to my channel. I'd like to thank you for becoming a new subscriber and a new supporter to my channel. And this video is my Protected Pearls focal piece. This is the focal piece that I decided to make to match my Protected Pearls earrings that I recorded a couple of years ago. And I decided that I didn't want to make a focal piece just like the earrings, but you can. It's the same concept. If you watch the earring video, you'll see you can do this, except that you just need to make your focal piece a little wider. I made mine 6 wide and the earrings are 4 wide, and just need to make it a little wider so that it could be a proper focal. And then I went ahead and I attached it to my Protected Pearls necklace strap that I made in my most previous video. And here it is. Here is the complete project. So I hope you like it, and I hope you make it. And stand by for the materials list to make the focal piece, which is simple ingredients, simple supplies, simple materials. So thank you for all of your support. The materials that we need to make this project are 2. We need a size 11 seed beads, and I'm using my Manicure brand, and the color that I'm using is Palladium Plated, and I'm using my Crystal Passions 4mm round beads or pearls, and these are my iridescent Tahitian color. I find that the Manicure brand of beads hugs the pearl better than Toho. I haven't tried any other brand of seed beads, so I won't know the effect that they will have. The size 11s will work as long as they are a uniform cut seed bead, but I find that Manicure really hugs the pearl, and I like the look of that. So stay tuned. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm also using a size 11 needle, and I'm using my 6-pound crystal fire line. I'm using my bead board with my gray bead mat on top. I have some scissors for cutting my thread, and that's about it. So stay tuned and we will get started. I have a comfortable length of thread threaded on my needle. I have about just a little more than a yard, and I'm not quite sure how much more I need to add, but let's just get started so we can get this focal done. All right, see you in a minute. To get started with this project, I have strung on 1 pearl and 5 seed beads. I'm going to pull my beads down to the end of my thread, just a little end, because I'm going to tie these in a knot, because I'm going to get rid of the tail as soon as possible to keep it from getting in the way. So I'm going to tie it one time, and I'm going to tie another time, and I'm going to try to avoid pulling the knot into the pearl. I just don't want the beads to slide as I'm working on my project. So I have a pretty secure knot. As a matter of fact, let me just make sure it's secure. I'm going to grab my plier and I'm going to hold on and pull. And why are we blurry? I hate that. Well, anyway, once here, I'm going to advance my needle into the pearl, and I'm going to reinforce that side And by the way, if you haven't watched the other videos, my protected pearls videos, we are using the right angle weave beading technique, and I have 4 sides. I have a pearl side, I have a top side, I have a side that is comprised of 3 seed beads, and then I have a bottom. And so I'm going to advance my needle into, or just reinforce this one unit, and I'm just going to do it, pull the needle through its sides so that I can keep the right angle weave formation, and I'm turning it so that I can work on my right side. So I have passed my needle into the top side. Well, I have it on the bottom now. Now I'm going into my seed bead side, which are 3 seed beads, and now I'm going into the bottom. Well, I have it on the top right now. Back into the bottom side, and when I pull the thread, I have reinforced that unit. Now I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to protect the pearl with the other side of the seed beads by adding on 5 of my seed beads, which is really my double right angle weave. All right, and I'm sharing the pearl to make the sides. So the pearl is the center of the double right angle weave. So now I have strung on my 5 seed beads, and I'm going circling back into my pearl, and I'm going to pull my thread, and this is what we have. I'm going to advance my needle into the top, here, and I'm just holding on so I don't lose formation. Let's see what I can do with this thread here. And I'm going to continue on advancing by going into the 3 seed beads here on the side, and I'm going to continue. Do you see how they loosened up here? I'm going to continue into this bottom side and pull the thread. But in order to resolve that loosening up, I'm going to enter back into the pearl side, go back up into there, and when I pull the thread, that takes care of all of that looseness, and both sides are reinforced. Now, to continue adding units, I'm going to advance into my top right side here, top right, and I'm going into my right side, going down here, the natural progression or the natural positioning of the thread, and so you have to go down this way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another unit, and the unit is going to need a bottom here, it's going to need a side here, and it's going to need a top. And this unit is not going to have a pearl in it, so I'm going to rely on just the seed beads to make this unit, this right angle weave unit. So I need 3 beads for the bottom. All right, I need 3 beads for the bottom. I need 3 more seed beads for the side, and I need 3 more seed beads for the top, which means that I just strung 9 seed beads onto my needle. My working thread is exiting this direction from on the side, my right side beads now, and I'm just going to circle back and pass my needle into those 3 beads, seed beads there on the side. And what I have now is a unit that does not have a pearl in it. I'm going to advance my needle into the bottom, into the side, the 3 seed beads here on the side, and I'm going to go ahead and just reinforce this, the 3 seed beads here on the top, And I'm going to go back into the side where we began, these 3 seed beads here. And now I'm going to advance to get into the proper position. So I'm going to go into these 3 seed beads here on the bottom and up now into these 3 seed beads on the side. So that is my next unit. From here now, I need to make another unit. So I have one side, which is this side here, and I need 3 more sides. I need a top, I need a side, and I need a bottom. So I'm going to continue on by stringing 9 seed beads. Once I get my 9 seed beads, I'm going to circle back, pass my needle into the side where we began, pull my thread, and this is what we have. I'm going to advance the needle into the 3 seed beads on the top, the 3 seed beads on the side, the 3 seed beads on the bottom, and back into the side where we began. So now that the unit is reinforced, now I just have to move into position to add a new unit. So I'm advancing my needle into the 3 seed beads on the top and the 3 seed beads on the right side. This is what we have. We're going to do this again because I want a total of 6 units, and we need 9 seed beads, and I'm going to pass my needle back into the side where we began. That's circling back for me, and I'm going to pass into the bottom side, and let me get rid of this tail right now. I'm just going to leave a little tiny nub end here, but otherwise I don't need it for anything. All right, so here we are. I'm passing back just to reinforce, because this is going to be my the center, and I believe that I need the strength here in the center. I may not reinforce any of the other units, but this one I see needs reinforcing. On my little prototype I did not reinforce. All right, so I have reinforced now, and I'm advancing into the 3 seed beads on the side where I need to be to add the next unit. So I have 4 units. The 5th unit is also going to be seed beads, so I need 9 seed beads because I need to add 3 sides. So I should have 9 seed beads here. 4, 8, 9, yes, and I'm going to pass my needle back into this side, and I'm going to reinforce now, and I like to solidify my units as much as I can. I could go through a bunch of beads, but I like to just go through the beads that make the unit. And I mean, even though they may come loose later on, I just don't want them to be too far out of formation while I'm trying to work and while I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. All right, so I have 5 units. My 5th unit is reinforced But now I have to get into position to add my 6th unit. And my 6th unit is going to have a pearl. And I need to go into three seed beads here, right, on the side. All right, so I'm in position now to add a pearl side. And I'm going to start off by stringing on 1 seed bead, 1 pearl, and 1 seed bead. This is what you should have on your needle. And I'm going to circle back and pass my needle into the 3 seed beads here on the side of that 5th unit. When I pull the thread, we have the beginning of our 6th unit. But because the 6th unit has a pearl, remember we have to do double right angle weave here. I'm going to pass the needle into the bottom side, reinforcing, going into the pearl side, into the top side, back into the side where we began, into the bottom again. Well, now we are completely, this side is reinforced, that half side is reinforced. Now I'm just going to get into position to add the other side of the unit. And once here, I need to string on 5 of my seed beads. So we have our 5 seed beads. Needle is exiting the top of the pearl side, and I need to circle back into the bottom and pass my needle up. And here we have it. I have 6 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The outside units have pearls, and the inside units are just seed beads. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce this outside here, and it may not be easy to keep this the beadwork in formation, but it's going to straighten out as we add units. Now, my unit is completely reinforced, and I have exited my pearl in the top. And in order for us to continue, I need to advance my needle. And if I advance my needle this way, I'm not going to get the desired decrease that I am looking for. So I'm going to advance my needle this way to my left. Once I get here, I need to string on a pearl and 4 seed beads. And I'm going to pass my needle back into the seed bead where we began. And once here, you can see that we have a decrease because we're going to make 5 rows across here. So with my needle exiting that seed bead where we started, I'm going to pass my needle back into, actually I'm going to have a thread mess. I'm going to pass my needle back into the pearl side here. And when I pull the thread, this is what we should have. Okay, once here, I need to look at my beads. I need to see where we are going here. My thread should be exiting the top. It should really be vertical, but it's a little wonky right now. But I'm going to be using the seed beads here to help to add units. I'm going to use these bottoms, but I also have to do a few other things. So I need you to pay close attention with this, because my thread is not, because it doesn't look like we're vertical here. We're going to have to fix our beads. We're going to have to position them. But I'm exiting the top of the pearl, and I need to string on 4 of my seed beads. I need to come around and I need to use, remember these 3 seed beads? I need to use the 1 seed bead that's right here, just that one. But I'm entering that seed bead from this side. Pull my thread. You see a familiar pattern here. I'm going to enter back into that pearl side. I'm going to go into the top side. I'm going to pass down here into the left side. And once I get here, I need to skip that center seed bead and enter my needle into this outside seed bead. Okay? Once here, we need to go straight across, because we're going to use this seed bead right here, but I can't just go straight across. I have to put something there. So I'm going to string on a size 11 seed bead and pass my needle there, right in there. And then now that means I have a top or a bottom. I've got a bottom side and I've got a right side. We have to now continue to make the rest of this unit, the one that's not going to have a pearl in it. So what do? And if we're using 3 seed beads per side, remember I added a seed bead in here. I added this seed bead here so that I could have 3 seed beads for this bottom. So I'm going to need 3 here on the left side and 3 more on the top. So that means I have to string on 6 seed beads. And I'm going to pass my needle into this right side, these 3 seed beads here on the right side. Pull my thread and have to advance. And I'm advancing by passing my needle into these 3 seed beads here on the bottom and these 3 seed beads here on the side. Okay, you see? Now, as you can see, I've got a side. This is the new left side here. Well, I'm sorry, this is going to be the new right side here. And so I'm going to need a top and I'm going to need a left side. So how many seed beads do I need for that? 3 seed beads per side. I have to string on 6 seed beads. And I'm going to pass my needle into, okay, we are going to skip across and we're going to pass the needle into this seed bead right here. And when you pull your thread, you can see that you have the new top here and the new left side. But something is missing. Right across here, I don't have 3 seed beads, I only have 2. So I need to add 1 and I need to pass my needle into that seed bead that's there, that's going to help us to create the new side, the new bottom side. And I just knocked my beadwork all over the place. All right, here we are. And pull my thread. And once I have my thread, it does not look like this is correct, but it is. we just have to continue to advance our thread. We're not going to use this center seed bead here. We're going to go right into our side seed beads, into our 3 on the top, just like that, and into the left side 3 seed beads. Once we are here, pull the thread and advance our needle. We're not going to enter into the center seed bead. Right here, we're going to just move over and enter into that seed bead right there. Once we get here, this is the place where we have to make a new bottom side, and we need to string on a seed bead and go across to the seed bead on the other unit there, and we have a new bottom. What we have to do now is we need a new side and we need a new top. So I'm going to string on 6 seed beads, and I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to pass my needle into these 3 seed beads on that side. I pull my thread. We've got a new unit. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and we only need 1 more unit for this row. So what I'm doing here is about to make a mess. I'm going to pass my needle into these. Remember, I'm not going to use this center seed bead. I'm going to pass my needle into the next 3 seed beads here. And I'm going to go up into these 3 seed beads here on the side. And I need now to make my 5th unit. My 5th unit is going to have a pearl. So when I get here, I need to string on a seed bead and a pearl. And let's pull these down so we can see exactly where we need to go. We're going to come over and we're going to use the 3rd seed bead. Remember these 3 seed beads here on the bottom? We're going to come and use this 3rd seed bead. 1, 2, 3. This 3rd one right here. We're going to pass our needle into that 1 seed bead, if I can get it without poking myself. So when we pull, this is what we have. Now we need to advance the needle into the 3 seed beads on the side, into the top, back into the pearl side, and don't drop it, and into this seed bead here on the left. And once we get here, we need to add seed beads, 4 of them, so that we can do our right angle weave side, or protect on this side of the pearl, do the protected side. So with the 4 seed beads on my needle, I'm going to pass my needle back into the pearl side, and back into the seed bead where we began, up into this side. The 3 seed beads on that side there, and pull, and I'm going to go into this seed bead, and we want to be able to do our decrease, but I'm not going to try to do the decrease from here. What I'm going to do is continue to advance my needle. I'm going to go back into this pearl here, and into this seed bead right here on the bottom right of the pearl, and into the side. And when I get here, does this look familiar? When I get here, I can pass my needle into this seed bead, but if I turn it this way, I can pass it into this seed bead. It's the same seed bead, but all I did was turn it so that I could work comfortably. From here, I'm going to be able to do my my decrease of my units. So now that this row is going to have 4 units, the units are going to start here and end here, and I'm going to start by stringing on 4 seed beads and a pearl. I'm going to take my needle and pass back into the pearl, the seed bead where we started. Promise to do that today. So can you see how we look like we have a decrease here? That's because that's what we want to have. We want it to look like that. And we're going to make our diamond. So I've passed through these 3 seed beads here on the side. I'm going into this this top seed bead, and I'm going to enter into this pearl again, and then I'm going to use this seed bead right here. This remember these 3? I'm going to use this seed bead, that one right there, and I'm going to add my sides, add my units as I have done in the previous units. So how many seed beads do I need to complete this unit? I need 4, because I already have 1 seed bead, and that's this one here. But in order to complete this pearl unit, I needed 4 more. Pull my thread down, pass my needle into this seed bead again, down into, up into these 3 seed beads on the side, and all right, I got 2 of them, so let's get the 3rd one. Once I do that, I'm ready to add the seed beads that I need for other units. Remember, we're not adding a pearl this time, so I do have a partial unit here on the bottom and a side unit. I need to add 2 more sides, so I need 6 seed beads. You remember this? I've done this already, but I'm just gonna go through it with you until I think you have it. Once I get here, once I add my 6 seed beads, remember these 3 seed beads right here? These 3? I'm going to use one of them right now, and I'm going to use this one, and I'm entering this way. You know, my figure 8 units, I'm going that way, but something is missing. Remember I said I had a partial unit here? I only have 2 seed beads there, so I need to add a seed bead in order for me to finish this side, and I'm going to enter into that 1 seed bead right there from those 3. Pull my thread, I have my complete unit. So I'm going to ignore that center seed bead there and pass my needle into the side. Pass my needle into the three seed beads on the top, through the 3 seed beads on the side, and just like that, we're ready to add the next unit. Remember, we used this 1 seed bead here on this bottom unit. We're going to ignore this one in the center, and we're going to pass into the next seed bead from the 3. We're going to make a bottom side by stringing on 1 seed bead and passing my needle into the next 1 seed bead on the next bottom unit. So now I have a bottom side and I need 2 more sides, which means I need to string on 6 seed beads. That's 3 seed beads per side. So I have my 6 seed beads now, and I'm going to come back over here to these 3, pass my needle into these 3 today. I don't know if you know, I'm making fun of myself when I say I'm going to do it today. It's taking forever. So I'm just passing my needle here into these 3 seed beads on that side, and look at this, we have a unit. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3 units, and we're about to add the 4th unit, but let's get into position first by passing into, remember, we're not going to bother with this center bead here. We're going to go into these 3 seed beads right here, and these 3 going this way. Once here, it's time to add our 4th unit, and our 4th unit is going to have a pearl. So I'm going to string on 1 seed bead and 1 pearl, and I'm going to pass my needle, remember these 3, right? Pass my needle into this 3rd seed bead here, but going this way, back towards the beadwork itself, and just that 1 seed bead. All right, so we have a half unit. Remember, it's going to be a double, so we're going to get into position by passing our needle into these 3 seed beads here on the side, moving into this one on the top, back into the pearl side, and then advancing into this bottom seed bead here. And what do we need when we get here? We need 4 seed beads. So you see, I'm going to pass my needle in here, back into the pearl, and back this way, and here, and here, and here, into this single seed bead right here, and in the side. And when we get here, let's do this thing, flip it over this way and pass our needle into this seed bead right here. Okay, now we have 4 units. Now you're gonna make 3 units here, and when I get done with the 3rd unit, we're gonna come back and we're gonna make the last 2 units because we're gonna taper them down. So see you in a minute. Did you survive? Did you finish your row of 3? And are you exiting this purl, coming out this way? Good. Now let's continue. We're going to do the tapering just like we did with the necklace. And I'm going to start off by stringing a pearl. I can turn it this way. Remember, I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to string on a pearl. And 4 seed beads. And I'm going to pass my needle back into that single seed bead where we're exiting, and into the pearl again. I'm going to string on 4 seed beads, and I'm going to pass my needle into this seed bead here, going in that direction. Up into the pearl, across that top seed bead, into these 3 on the side, and remember that single seed bead we are just going to ignore, and we're going to go advance into the 3rd seed bead here, and I'm going to string on a pearl, and 1 seed bead, and I'm going to pass my needle into these 3 on the side, and I'm going to advance my needle into that 1 seed bead here, into the pearl side, and now I need 4 seed beads, and I'm going to come around and pass my needle into that single seed bead there. Okay, and I'm going to pass up into the pearl side, and into that seed bead right there. Once there, I'm going to string on a pearl and 4 seed beads, pass my needle back into that seed bead where we started, up into this pearl side, and I need to string on 4 seed beads and pass my needle into this seed bead on this side and into the pearl side, and there we have half of our focal piece done. Because we're going to use this these seed beads to attach our straps, I'm just going to go ahead and just reinforce. And I'm going to reposition my thread so that you can see exactly where you need to be. If your thread is long enough, you could go ahead and complete the other side. But I didn't make my thread that long because it's very hard for me to record the video with a long thread. I never have good luck, so if I'm working with 1 yard, 3 or 4 feet of thread to record a video, I'm doing well. All right, in order for us to get into position to do the other side of our focal piece, we need to continue advancing our needle until we get to the proper position to begin the other side. It's the same exact technique that we just did to complete this side. So I'm not going to record that part of the video. I'm just going to try to get you into position to begin. So I'm just advancing my needle through all of these seed beads so that I can show you where you need to begin and let you do this next other side of the diamond on your own. Just continue advancing our needle until we get where we need to be. Here, today, here, and here. And once here, we can turn our piece and we can get our needle into this position right here. And we start here with our seed beads, our 4 seed beads, 2, 3, 4, and a pearl. And we're going to circle back and pass the needle into that seed bead where we began. And there you are. Now you are in position where you can do this side of the diamond without my help. Well, I'm the one who needs help. I'm tangled up here. Okay, so I'm going to do this side. I have to add a piece of thread, and I'm going to do this side, and I will see you momentarily. I've completed the first little portion of my protected pearls focal piece, and I reinforced the seed beads around it, but I'm going to add one more unit. So I'm just going to get myself into position by going around again. It's tight in here because I really reinforced this, and I'm going to reposition right here, and it would help if I had my pearls out. Right. So, all right, so right here I'm going to string on a pearl and 4 seed beads. And I'm going to pass my needle back here. And I'm only turning it this way so I can go back into the beads. I'm just going to reinforce it while I'm here. And I'm going to continue advancing and string on the 4 seed beads that I need. Excuse me, for the other side. And I'm coming around, and I'm passing my needle into that bottom right seed bead right there. And I'm going to go around, go ahead and reinforce that side that I just added. And then, now that we are sufficiently reinforced here, I'm going to get, let's move these beads out of the way. I need my seed beads. I'm going to pass my needle over here. I'm going to go into the top left, and then I'm going to go to the next seed bead, and I'm going to get my strap. Oh, sorry. I don't mean to knock you all around. Not at all. Okay, I'm going to get my strap. And I'm going to use, and the strap is still intact the way I have it. I'm going to use the seed beads from the strap to connect this. So I'm going to go into the corresponding seed bead. Am I? Actually, I'm not. I think I did too many things. I went too far. I need to be in. I'm sorry. Sometimes I do this. Okay, I need to be exiting this top seed bead. Let me make sure. And I need to use the corresponding seed bead from my strap on this side. And that means that when I do this, all right, so we have a clear left side and a clear right side here. I'm going to add a right angle weave unit. I'm stringing on 1 seed bead, and I'm passing my needle into that bottom left seed bead on my strap. I'm stringing on 1 more seed bead, and I'm passing back into this seed bead here on the focal where I started. And when I pull my thread, this is what I have. I have a unit. And of course it's loose because we've only just created the unit, but we are going to now reinforce the unit by going back into all the beads. And I can do that a couple of times, as long as you can see what I'm doing. And one more time. All right. This side is created and sufficiently reinforced. It might be a little bit dangerous to have the beads dangling from seed beads. However, it's not holding anything. It is one piece. It is a one-piece unit. Now I'm going to advance my needle into the side, in the bottom. So that's another reinforcement we're getting here, up here. And right here into this seed bead, and I'm going to get my strap, making sure that it's not twisted up, and I'm going to do the same thing I just did on the other side. I'm going to use my corresponding seed bead right here. So I'm going to string on a seed bead. I'm going to pass my needle right here into this seed bead on the bottom right here, just that one. Pull my thread, string on a seed bead, and pass my needle back into the seed bead where I started, and we have created the second right angle weave unit. And what are we going to do? We have to reinforce, and I'm going to reinforce it twice like I did the other on the other side. And one more time. Boy, I just have thread everywhere. Okay. Now we are reinforced again. And let me continue advancing just so I can get into a place where I can look at what I'm doing just to see if I need anything else. You know, sometimes you may have to add a few things, but I think that looks pretty good. It looks pretty good there. I don't think I'm going to add anything. I think I'm just going to leave it just the way it is. Now, you don't have to do a focal like this, but I think it complements the strap that I made. And you don't have to make the 3-row, the triple row strap. You don't have to do that, but I think that we try to make things that are special and unique when we do them handmade, and we want them to be nice. So I think this is particularly nice, and I like it, and that's very important. I think I like it. I think I'm going to add a seed bead. I'm going to come back up this way, go right here, go down here. Okay. Ugh. And I'm knocking the camera over. Oh boy. And now once I'm here, I'm going to string on a seed bead. Let's see how that looks. It's kind of like designing on the fly, which is not what I meant to be doing today. Oh, look at that. All right. That looks better. It does. It looks better. All right. So I did this. I repositioned my thread needle, and I came out of this seed bead right here, and I added a seed bead, and I went into this seed bead here, and I'm going to add one more seed bead, and I'm going to come back into that seed bead right there where I started. And I think that that is the finishing touch right there. I think I like that. I really do. All right, so I'm just going to reinforce that impromptu unit that I just added here, and I think that it won't have such a fragile connection, a fragile looking connection. I didn't think it was fragile looking, but some people might not like it because, you know, it doesn't really, we're only connected by seed beads. But because this piece is light and it's not carrying any weight, I don't think it is going to be a problem. So from here now, I'm just going to let me go back into this unit. To this seed bead here and around. Just want to get into a position where I can just tie off some thread. That's all I want to do, to get where I can tie off the thread. And I'm going to pass up in here. And let's see, I think I may go a little bit further. Let's go this way into this pearl here. And into these. And here, here, and let's just keep going a little bit, one more time, this way and this way. I did a couple of S's, and so right here I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to pass my needle up under these beads that make the sides. So in between these two seed beads right here, I'm just going to pass my needle up under that thread there and pull up a loop. And I want a small loop so that I don't have to concern myself with the thread not being pulled all the way through. I'm passing my needle through that loop twice, and I'm pulling down on my thread, and here we are. It just makes a nice thick knot. It's thick, but you really can't see it. And I'm going to continue advancing the needle. Actually, let me pull that knot out of there and continue advancing the needle. And now I can pull it in, and I can knock the camera, so sorry. Continue going. A couple of S's. I really think that it's secure enough, and I'm just going to go around a couple of times. That was a nice thick knot that I did there, and I have reinforced these beads, and so just going around and making a square here. Ooh, it's tight in there. I don't think this is going anywhere. I think it's pretty secure. And I'm going to go this way, and once I get here, I'm just going to stretch my thread and nip it off. And that, my friends, is the project. Let me move these things out of the way. I've got seed beads all over the place. I'll get a better picture of it once I clean up my workspace. So this is what we have. Our focal and our necklace strap, and I'm going to try to get a better picture of it for my intro. So I'd like to thank you so much for hanging out with me, making these couple of videos. I hope that you like these projects. I hope that you get the courage to get some beading materials and to try to make some of these projects. I hope I make them simple enough for you to be able to understand, and that they're not too long that I lose your interest. But I really appreciate all of your support. Those of you who are new, those of you who are hanging out with me. We have over 2,000 subscribers now, and that may not seem like a lot to some people, but it is an enormous number of subscribers for me, and I want to thank you. And as a matter of fact, this project that I have done, the earrings, the necklace with the straps, the focal piece, the bracelet, and even the single, they're going to be a gift. I'm going to do a giveaway, and these are all going to be a gift for the person whose name is drawn in the giveaway. So stay tuned, look out for that video that's to come. And so just if you like this project, let me know and share with me if you make it on Facebook. Thank you again for hanging out with me, and see you again on the next video. So long.